I am Feel It.
And I am Fix It. And we talk about life.
And stuff and things.
With the occasional rant.
Which you will have no problem doing.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Whatever it is, wherever you are, we hope you're having a good one.
Absolutely.
Still don't know how that started.
I don't either, but I don't really have a good response. Sometimes when I hear myself, all I think of is that dude from that murder podcast that we listen to, and he's trying really hard to do the shut up and give me murder, and
Oh, yeah, and it's just...
I'm like, that just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's like they intend... You could tell they meant to
it's
do it
yeah,
the
it's
first
cute.
one, and it was just so out of sync, they decided to just keep running with it, and now it just seems really forced.
Yeah, it works, but
I mean, it does, but...
yes,
I
indeed.
think I said it in the first one, and... I don't know, it conveys the sentiment.
Yeah,
like it's-
we're being genuine.
Oh, yeah. Well, and being this kind of podcast format, it's available 24/7 around the globe. You have no idea when people are going to see it. So,
And yes, indeed, hear it. And yes, indeed,
fair enough, yeah.
it's a beautiful afternoon, pleasantly sunny.
It is.
Just warm enough to need the AC.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of breeze. But we are late again.
Yep.
So this was a conversation we started to have, and I'll throw it out there, and we
Please
haven't
excuse
even...
the dog.
Yeah, sorry, you're going to hear some jingles. Haven't had a definitive conversation, but let's just toss it out there that maybe we should just move our post date to Mondays, and that will give us the weekend, whatever day that might be, whether that is the Saturday or Sunday, because that's typically when we record. Because it's been wild the last few months, and we didn't mean for it to be.
No, just life is weird.
I got to admit, I mean, yesterday I wasn't in the best headspace. We were exhausted anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I got to move into my new office.
Yep.
Which was a blessing and very gracious to let me move in early. Bigger office, went from an 8x10 with no windows to an 8x15 with a wall of windows.
Yes.
So it's very nice, very different, and it was just a little bit of work to get that done.
Mm-hmm. And man, your desk is heavy.
I didn't help
Oh my
a lot. I mean, I didn't. I was
No.
moral support, and I was probably on my feet way more than I should have been, and I felt that.
Considering you're still operating with a 25-pound weight restriction, you're really not allowed to do much.
And I really am being a good girl because of all the extra inflammation that I...
Oh, yeah. No, we want you to heal well. This is not...
If it wasn't for all the what do they call that? Extensive bruising and inflammation that is still present, I would actually probably be pushing that limit because that's what I was taught to do. But I'm not. And I started my pelvic floor physical therapy the other day. I had my eval, had a couple little exercises to start doing, and I felt like I did. I was like, she made me do things. And there I was yesterday on my feet more than I should have been. Even though I wasn't lifting, I sure felt like I had been. And oddly, it's been so long since I have lifted a lot that, a lot of weight at once, I should say. That was just kind of odd. It was odd to feel that way. But anyway, yesterday got away from us, and here we are today. But to be fair, I wasn't in the best headspace, and I don't think you were either. And you were exhausted.
That was a long day. It was a very long day. But
even though it wasn't like we weren't there like all day long, it was just by the time we got home, we were both kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
just kind of done.
And then there was still some planning and figuring some stuff out. And
Went back
so-
this morning.
yep, went back this morning and finalized a few things.
And then we have to go back again next week.
Yep. Yeah. A few more things to nail down, but you're better than 95%.
I would say.
So
Yeah.
it's just finalizing some stuff, and then give you a week or so in the space and see if we need to tweak anything. But yeah, no, it's good. It was good. It was just
So, in sharing all of that, I mean, it's one day at a time. We have experienced the week like everybody else has in the world. And this isn't typically a forum that we would say we'd want to like go there with certain things, but it's been a week, man. And as I have listened to some of the normal commentators that I listen to, everybody's hitting on it. Everybody is hitting on Charlie Kirk's passing. And I'll be honest, when I first heard the name, I mean, I wasn't overly familiar. Like, yes, I knew who he was, and like I'd heard him. I watch Fox News. I know that we are anonymous, and maybe one day we won't be. In fact, it kind of everything that's been going on this week kind of inspired me to even consider that, and that's a conversation that you and I can have. But let's back up. How we started the week off personally in this household was that our oldest daughter, now whether or not she's having jitters with all of it or just the stress and things that is normal for like trying to enter a new career and having to take a big exam, she, just to get everybody caught up on it, just in case this is your first time listening, she's 22, just recently turned 22. She has higher functioning autism. She lost her job in May, voluntarily left that job. There's a lot of reasons why, but in essence, it was the best thing for her mental and emotional health. Mm-hmm. And no one should be asked to compromise who they are just to have a job, no matter what the job is. And that was continually happening. Mm-hmm. So she left, she took her break, took her breath, decided, hey, I'm going to try for medical assistant. We've talked about that in previous episodes. Was I admittedly on the fence of thinking that was the best idea? Yes. Could she learn it? Yes. But could she practically carry it out? That was a question. And never that we like, or we haven't been supportive, because we absolutely have been. But she's coming down to the end of the instruction, and we were talking about timing and how it all needed to play out, and she had her therapy session Tuesday, and then it explained to me that evening that she just didn't know. She's really struggling. Now, whether or not that's jitters or that's a reality of kind of coming to terms with, hey, I don't know if this is going to be the best fit for me. I don't know.
Well, and I think there's some component of it is she's had people telling her that she can't do things.
Sure.
But
that was never a conversation.
No, it doesn't. But it doesn't have to be. If you've got people in your background of your life telling you that you can't do stuff, you're always going to second guess.
Well, fair, but
and it's like, you've got this, so you can't do it. No, yes, you can. You can ignore them.
But to be clear, that was never what we did.
No, I'm not saying.
I don't know.
I'm never saying
else in her life might be doing that.
Yeah, but problem is people do that without intending to do that.
We had discussion about the reality of what that schedule would entail.
Oh yeah, that part she's not really thrilled,
and how that would coincide with her particular lifestyle,
mm-hmm.
and what she's accustomed to.
Yep. Being unemployed gives you have a lot of freedom.
We have had those conversations, but it led to another one, which was, what else could I do? And what would that have to look like? And let's just say these conversations are not easy with any kid her age. And I say kid, like she's our kid. It doesn't matter if she's a legal adult.
She's always going to be my kid.
And yes,
truth.
she has a little bit of a challenge with some of her processing and her emotional maturity. That is just a fact. But I just sat back and I was like, I don't know. And I don't know if I have the brain space for this right now. But let's talk with Dad. Let's have this conversation. And we did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about like sterile processing technician or something like that.
Yeah.
Something else that was, a certificate
Yep.
and with an exam and, there's commitment. But there's a local university, Davenport University, that offers a legitimate program.
Yep. And they're a really good school. They're not the cheapest school, but I really do. Unlike a lot of places I've been to and seen, anybody that teaches there is working in the field of which they're teaching. You're not learning from somebody who learned it in a book, got a degree, and is now teaching it. You're learning it from people who've been doing it for 20 years.
Which we're gonna go there in a second. I know you have no idea. We didn't talk about this topic, but you had no idea. And I'm feeling better in case y'all haven't caught that in my voice. I mean, I'm still sitting here with a weighted blanket, but that's okay. Anyway,
I'll be your weighted blanket, honey.
oh baby, maybe in a little while. It's a certificate program. It's self-paced. I think it was like $2,800. I don't believe that included the exam. Okay. Let's have a conversation about
Sure.
that. Have we had a more in-depth conversation? No. And we do need to sit down and do that. But
Well, and
those are unpleasant conversations. They're never. So on one hand, we got the 22-year-old that's struggling. Like, I don't know, maybe this is the wrong thing. We've just spent all this money and actually we're not done because it was on a payment plan. And I don't know if this is the right thing. And then we got the 19-year-old who has had her world flipped upside down. She chose to part ways with somebody we have talked about many times on this show. We're just going to say on the long and the short of it is the young lady that we would call our 0.5. They came to a place where they decided to part ways. And that was not an easy choice for her. That was not easy on us. It's still something that we're adjusting to and have feelings about, but it was her decision. That's
Very
our
much
daughter.
so.
We're going to back her up. And let's just say there was a lot of detail to that matters. And there was a reason. There's more than one reason, but it hit that point for a reason. That happening then just over a week ago, she's like, hey, I need a minute. We'd already talked about her taking a break. She's gone from full-time to part-time, and here she is working nearly full-time because they keep having her work Friday nights, which is actually technically what they call Saturday, third shift. But she's not really working all that much less, and she just wanted a minute. And
no, the same time that she went from 5 days a week and basically no overtime, she goes to 3 days a week, and then the Saturday stuff kicks up.
Hey, we need you to work.
Like hardcore. And in the bay that she's working, it's not everybody. It's in the bay she's working. And they all want her to be there. All of the supervisors she's worked with are like, no, we need like 10 more of her.
That's so strange to hear, but I'm so proud at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
she's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like, honey, you show up every day. You're there. You show up, do the job that they tell you need to do. How they told you need to do it. And you don't give them any crap. And when there's nothing going on, you're like, you ask, hey, where do you need me? Because this isn't enough. That doesn't happen. It's like all of those are things that don't happen. I mean, after a while, people stop asking for to stay busy. Oh, you're paying me to stand here. I'll just stand here until you tell me otherwise. It's like, hey, I need you to run this too. It's like, well, I don't want to run this too. It's like she doesn't care. She just does it. And then how many days a week are people just not there? Like all the freaking time. Why? No idea.
They can.
And which life happens, and we all understand life happens. I'm not giving people crap for life happening. But when it's the same people over and over and over and over and over again, you kind of, yeah, she just shows up. And she's like, but I'm not doing anything extra. It's like, no, you're not doing it. It's not that you're not doing anything extra. You're giving them what they ask for, what you agreed to do. All of these other people aren't. It's like, here's the standard and you're meeting it. And sometimes you're actually taking an extra step beyond it. And it's like, how can I help? When most other employees are giving you 3/4 of what they're paid to do. And they're complaining about it. How busy they are. It's like, I just watched you on your phone not do a dang thing for 15 minutes while you're supposed to be keeping up on your machine. You're not busy. And she's just like, how am I so great? I'm like, you're doing the job you're paid to do, and you're not complaining about it. That puts you in the top 1% of employers' wants. Like,
okay.
That's anyway. So
I wanted you to get to a place with your rabbit hole.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
It's just
I know he's very proud of his daughter.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of those, she has no desire. And one of the things that I'll put that out there is like, she said to me, it's like, you know what? I have a much better appreciation for all the crap that you've put up with to make sure that we're taken care of. I don't want this life.
That's right.
And I'm like, you know what?
Very clear.
You know what? That's awesome.
Okay, then what are you going to do to not?
You have one more thing in there in your I don't want to do this column. And that's you need to fill that column in too. I don't want to do this. Great. Here's your question. Then what are you going to do? Like, this is your time to figure stuff out. What is it that you do want to do? You figured out what you don't want to do. What is it that you do want to do? And let's work towards that, because you've got backup. The time to do it is now, not in a couple of years when you're not living with us. It's like, you got backup right now. We got your back. We're going to make sure you don't starve.
So,
but
when she worked longer
Yeah.
in the summer than normal because she's not doing traditional college and all,
Yep.
but she asked for the minute, right? She wanted to clean her room. Like, she wanted to sort through things. She wanted to organize. She wanted to kind of fresh start some stuff in that way.
She got herself a big girl dresser.
Yep, she bought a big girl dresser. And then made this decision to end this relationship, this friendship, and then that kind of wobbled her up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about, okay, how about when we're back from our vacation? You have to go back to school.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to explain why she can make that call, right? And I will promote it, not a sponsor. It's called Straighter Line. Again, Straighter Line. Look it up. I don't know what you want to call it. It's grown exponentially since I found it a few years ago, but it's just some amazing program that's linked with, I don't know, at least dozens, if not maybe 100 colleges and universities. It is degree only. It is not certificate program. Mm-hmm. Where you can earn the credits of an associate's degree. So basically it's kind of set up so that you have to be able to transfer them. You don't just get the associates. It's set up so that it's encouraging a bachelor's. She is not, you pay a fee to be part of it. She's not attending. She hasn't attended, well, since she graduated. So, or I'm sorry, not since she graduated. Oh my gosh, I'm a year off. May. She ended in May. This year. Took the summer to start this full-time job. Said I can't do both. But there's the monthly fee basically that you continue to pay to have access. And in essence, I mean, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but like $4,000 to $5,000 she could earn an associate's. But it's not just you earn the associates, you're just rolling it into getting a bachelor's. So she is then now connected to Grace College in Winona Lake, Indiana, in their bachelor's of psychology program. So she's working toward that.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of that said, it's self-paced. As long as you keep paying that fee. We're sitting right next to a stack of physics books. There's these 2 gigantic physics books.
Uh-huh.
next to me. And there's an English class that she had already prepaid for that she's going to dive into as well. So she's set up, she's ready, she's there. It's just the mindset.
Yes.
But she does need the minute. We're going to let her take a minute. In a more adult life, you're not going to get that. Right? You're not going to get the minute every time you need the minute.
Nope.
But right now, to your point, that we got her back. Okay, take your minute. Get your room done. Get your head straight. We're going to go on a vacay. Our first vacay with adult kids. And I say that to kind of lead into something else. Okay? So there's a few things here if you're following me. There's what it's like to have conversations with adult kids that are hard. Adult kids that have some special needs. Okay? And then even next to that, you already hit on it, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there for a different angle than, many famous commentators, far, far more traffic commentators than we get with our podcast. With the passing of Charlie Kirk, for who he was, what he stood up for, it was, among all the things, reform. And I've read some things that talked about college age kids, these turns that they made from listening to him, from then becoming part of his movement, and turning from the just gross secular leftist garbage, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the indoctrination. That those are colleges now. Yeah. That is the vast majority of colleges now. So
it's a big thing.
It dawned on me, we're bypassing that now, because Grace College, as I just referred, again, not a sponsor, they are a Christian college.
Sure.
Legitimate. Not they're going to say it in name and then teach and do all kinds of other things. That's legitimate. Brent Hansen, author, I don't know if he's, I don't know, words are escaping me at the moment. I know he has a show, so I don't know if it's like a, anyway, if you looked up Brent Hansen.
I'm not saying, I can't say I'm overly familiar. Kind of, it's entirely possible he's my Charlie Kirk, because I was very familiar with him.
What's funny is I couldn't place his face, because I watch Fox News, but I couldn't, like, when I first heard, and I was like, I was picturing somebody else. My brain just wasn't connecting it. And then I heard his voice and I saw his face and I was like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Because, well, to be fair, honey, I don't spend hours scrolling my phone like you either. If I saw him,
kind of seek out that kind of confrontation. I appreciate a heated debate with people who disagree.
But if I just saw him, it was because he was filling in on Fox.
Yes.
Not because I was listening to one of the debates that he was having, and it was, broadcast or recorded and put on the internet. So, to be fair, I did know who he was. My brain just didn't connect it at first. I was like, oh, wait, that guy. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Well, my point is, like, I might know who this guy is that you're speaking of.
You've heard him on the radio.
Yeah, it's not somebody I've naturally gravitated towards.
But we are bypassing.
Yes.
That stage, right? Like, we don't have to worry about sending the kids away to some indoctrination camp, paying, tens of thousands of dollars for something so that they can just end up like the guy that took his life, that took Charlie Kirk's life. I know that's a lot of what's being said right now. There's a lot of things out there. I don't entirely know what's true or not true. Was he actually raised in the conservative home and then he turned? I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea.
The general consensus of the reports I've read, he grew up in a conservative home, hunting, fishing, all that fun stuff.
Okay, whether or not that's true.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Then he went to college, and after a semester, dropped out and moved in with his transgender boyfriend. So something flipped.
Trans girlfriend, right? Because it's a dude that wants to be a girl.
It's a dude that says he's female. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Okay. So
It's
yeah,
gay with extra steps.
got it. So whether or not all that's true, I don't know. Oh, we'll know more
Yeah,
in the
we'll learn.
days and weeks.
More will
We'll
come
know.
out, but that seems to be the general consensus.
But that's
of
not
the things I've
abnormal.
heard.
That is what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's a lot of-
I'm not as amazing as Jordan Peterson, right? Like someday maybe you'll actually hear my name on this,
Yeah.
and we'll turn that corner, and we'll just do it just because. I'm not that brave right at this second, but listening to all the things this week, even about the people, like reading all this stuff about how people's lives have changed after hearing Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Well,
If
and,
you're just like taking in what he was saying.
well, and there's the idea that if you convince someone against, and you can't logic someone out of a decision that they made based on their emotions, there's all of that. The part that it's like, it was always, who doesn't agree with me, step forward, let's talk.
Prove me wrong.
Well, yeah, he did the prove me wrong thing too, but it was always, you don't agree with me, step up, let's talk.
It was
And then he'd ask
discussion.
questions.
We've
Yeah,
lost the art of discussion.
He wanted to push the discussion. And when people left, even if they were insulting him, he would say, thank you for your time. You know, it's like, thank you for coming up. Thank you for having the bravery to step up here, knowing you're surrounded by people right now that don't agree with you.
Holy cow, did he have a crazy amount of patience.
He did. He was phenomenal. But it came from a place of, I want to better understand you. I want you to better understand me. And I've always operated under the fundamental idea that if you don't know why you believe something, why do you believe it? And he kind of seemed to operate under a similar kind of vein. It was, please explain to me, okay, you believe that. That's great. Please explain it to me. And I want to better understand, so I'm going to ask you questions. And I want you to ask me questions about what I believe. And if I can't tell you, if I can't explain to you why I believe the way I believe, then maybe I need to, obviously I need to figure that out. And maybe I need to change my opinion. And that's, I talked about that kind of thing. Jordan Peterson's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your
Very
opinion?
different, but yeah.
His approach is extremely different. Jordan Peterson doesn't run from a difficult conversation, but he doesn't enjoy it. Charlie Kirk seemed to enjoy having the difficult conversation. And to an extent, I do too, just on a much smaller scale. I very happily hang out with people I disagree with.
You could never sit and do what he did.
No, I could not do what he did.
Ever.
His level, he's on a different level. However, I personally am kind of in the same thing, though. It's like, I would happily sit down and have a conversation with somebody I disagree with on almost anything. Except he put up with it, making it personal. Don't make it personal. It would become personal insults against him. It's like, no, we're talking here. I like you, you like me, and up until like 5 seconds ago, let's talk. And even if we don't agree in the end, at least we better understand each other, and that makes us better people. Sorry, didn't mean to take that. It was just...
It's okay.
He
I know you're very passionate about this, so I wanted to be careful.
It's
not just talking about it because everybody else is talking about it. It was the angle that kind of came at me. I was like,
Sure.
Okay, I'm inspired listening to all these people. Maybe one day I'll, say my name. We'll talk about that. And then there's the idea that our kids are bypassing the very thing he was fighting, like these college campus extremist crazy things. And then the other thing that kind of came to me was the theme of the week, so to speak. We started off with the horrific stabbing of that young lady.
Yeah.
Of course, what did they say? A gentleman that had schizophrenia, I believe.
Who'd been arrested for 14 or 15 previous times for violent crimes.
Yeah, and then he's out. Was out. There was the Colorado shooting. They kind of got buried.
Yes.
Because I believe it happened the same day as Charlie Kirk's.
Yeah, similar time frame. I don't know if it was just before, just after. Yeah.
At least in the same day or two.
Yeah.
At the most. Because we're talking like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, September 11. September 11, of course, being the 24th anniversary of the Twin Towers in the Pennsylvania and
Pentagon.
Thank you. That I feel was overshadowed quite a bit.
Yeah, which is...
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't, I know to honor it every year matters, but it was very much overshadowed this year.
It was. Well, and I believe it was a woman Democrat that was killed before. That's the thing. I remember reading a little bit about it, but it was a report, not a detailed kind of thing. And someone was like, well, why is nobody talking about this? It's like, that's a really good question. That is a really good question. I don't care who it is. It needs to get talked about. Why? Like, I think the part that is so, one of the things that really sticks with people is the pointlessness of it. It's pointless.
Which one?
All of them.
I was just gonna say. I mean, kind of
all of them.
My thought process there was the theme was mental illness. I saw it very clearly. I was like, huh. And I only had 2 clients that said something by Friday, so there was that. But it was weird. It was a weird chain of events.
Yes, extremely.
And then you sit back and you're like, that was 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
That was 1 week.
It was 1 week. It was a bad week, and admittedly,
And then even
this is
that
the
young
U.S. We are
lady's-
kind of sheltered in a lot of ways, but because the whole world has got catastrophes happening all the time, but you only hear about certain ones, and some just resonate.
Well, here's my thought, and I don't know, I can't quite connect all the things with it. I'm sure you could think of it differently, but so when this young lady was stabbed, I believe it was a Subway.
Yes.
Right? They cut from, at least in all the news footage I ever saw, I never actually went looking for whether or not there was like a whole clip of the actual stabbing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that
it was dead on camera.
I know that they had said, I know, but I just didn't go looking for it because the news things I saw cut from it. Mm-hmm. But I know there was like 4 or 5 people sitting right there. Right there. And then they cut to like him walking away dripping blood, right? That's all I saw.
And, there's footage of people looking down at the trail of blood and looking back and then sitting back down.
I can't even put together in my head how horrifying that would have been. But yet, and forgive me with the graphic, I'm trying to put words to this. The horrifying amount of blood that poured out of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And yet that, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't go looking for what it looked like with that young lady where nobody moved. Nobody moved. And then he shot in front of, I don't know how many people.
A couple thousand, probably.
And they're all running. I mean, I know the difference there might be that it was a gunman and they had no idea where it was coming from. But they moved. That guy had a knife. He could have gone after anybody else.
Except, and yeah, but
and they just watched.
Yep. Well, and it was everybody was kind of in their own little bubble, including the girl. And he just gets up, walks behind her, no reason, walks up behind her, stabs her a couple of times in the neck, and left. That was it.
My brain can't process.
She was literally just got on the subway to go home or wherever she was going, sat down playing on her phone, didn't interact with anybody. He stood up, walked up behind her, stabbed her a couple times, then left.
And nobody moved.
And nobody moved.
Nobody stopped him. Nobody tried to do anything with him. I don't know if anybody tried to come to her aid thereafter. Like I said,
there's footage of her sitting in the seat, holding her neck and crying. bleeding out.
I did not go
Yeah,
fishing for footage
I can't say I went looking for it, but I did see it.
because you doom scroll endlessly.
A little bit,
It's terrible. But my brain just kind of had trouble connecting that, like drastic differences, and then my thought being, okay, the Colorado shooting. I remember hearing about it. Unfortunately, not a whole lot.
No.
I don't know if anybody was
No, it got
wounded or
massively.
passed away.
It got massive. Honestly, I should probably look that up because
I
that
think
shouldn't
it
be
was
forgotten.
probably the same day.
That shouldn't be overlooked.
I genuinely think it was the same day.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, it's one of I don't care
But there was just so much.
where you're from. I don't care what position you hold. I don't. That's.
I didn't hear a whole lot
Yeah.
about it. I knew it had happened.
I am.
I believe it was the same day as the shooting.
I believe it was right in that same time adjacent. Like I'm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just very.
I can't imagine just watching something like that happen and doing nothing.
Yeah.
I can't say I know what I would do, but I can't believe it would be nothing. And are we in a fear culture already? Is that the problem?
Well, and there is there's way too many accounts of people coming to the aid and getting to aid of somebody in trouble and getting sued for it. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that that's what occurred here, but it was it's like people are afraid to be helpful anymore because if it's if I come up to talk to you, it's like somehow that's assault. I don't
think about this for a
but
moment.
at the same time, it's like, I'm sorry, you watched a guy walk by and there's blood dripping off of him and a bleeding little girl in a freaking seat.
I believe she was like maybe
She was tiny. Okay.
late 20s, something.
Yeah, she was early 20s.
I mean, she was an adult.
Yeah, she was an adult, but I mean, she's freaking little. She's a little freaking thing bleeding out on a subway car and everybody just, for way too long, sat there doing nothing. And even if it looked like he just punched her. Okay,
maybe.
The video footage, it looks like he just. Even if that was the case, everybody on that bus that saw what happened that didn't do anything, I think needs to be charged just as bad as he does. That's I don't care.
Stop and think about.
It was horrible. Completely. I mean, even
I have no
all of it.
idea what's
I don't
coming
care
of
how
any
much
of
you
it.
disagree with somebody's opinion. The fact that they're uttering opinion is not grounds for termination. Okay, I don't care. If you're physically attacking me or someone, I care about violence could be a necessary response.
Precipitated it. I think it was just him deciding he wanted to kill somebody.
The whole clip, she sits down she walks through the door, sits down in the seat.
I've seen
little
that
bit
much.
of time passes.
I've seen that much.
And she's just playing on her phone, doing her thing, and she gets attacked.
Now rewind 24 years to the week where the Pentagon plane, the one that was supposed to go the one that went down in Pennsylvania. It went down because a plane full of people said, we're going to die anyway. We may as well go out swinging.
Yep.
That's what took it down early.
Yep.
Bravery that existed.
People
24 years ago.
doing the right thing.
That's 24 years of people doing the right thing, being dragged through the mud, afflicted, losing everything, torn to shreds, societal changes, disgusting societal changes. I mean, we could talk for hours about all the political stuff, and I'm not going there.
No.
But
But
the point is,
this is not by itself, in and of itself,
consider for a second how drastically different that is. And oddly, the same week, 24 years later, and now even with the events all having to do with mental illness, it is true, and I'll never say that it just wasn't. I don't understand how Charlie Kirk was asked the question he was, and that wasn't some kind of play or cue or what the heck that was. I haven't heard anything about that being the fact, and I'm not saying it was. I'm just having a really hard time because that couldn't have been more ironic. I don't know if that guy knew that that was a topic that would normally come up. I don't know if he was banking on it coming up and that just being his moment. I have no idea. But our kids are older, right? Like 9/11 happened. I didn't even have kids. I think now even about like I have adult children. What are my grandkids going to go through? What am I going to continue to live to see deteriorate? And just I work in a field where I don't exactly see pretty things. And when I do, it takes a lot of work for somebody to get there. And it's always a joyous moment, right? When they hit their goal, when they have their breakthrough, when they feel relief, whatever that might be. But that's work, and it doesn't always happen. So, and that's just me. Like, I don't work in trauma. I don't work in suicide. I don't work in higher stress, higher crisis fields. It's just general counseling. And that can be hard enough. I unfortunately had a client that chose just, a week ago to go into inpatient services for eating disorder. I had my moment where I wished we could have worked through other things that were absolutely precipitating it, but it's not that I failed. It's that she needed something else, and that was her choice, and God bless her, and maybe I'll see her again down the road. But I work in ugly. So I kind of had a strange lens this week with the idea of all of these things. And it is typically these crises, these shootings and a stabbing like that. There was a stabbing up in Traverse City, Michigan, a month ago?
Something like that.
Same thing. A guy, I don't want to quote, I'm not positive what his mental illness was. I believe it was schizophrenia, but I'm not positive about that. These things can happen anywhere. We can't live in fear, right? And that was like Charlie Kirk's thing. It's like you live boldly. You don't live in fear. And I think a lot of that's going to be inspired, and a lot more is going to come out now. And I think it's amazing. It's going to be amazing to watch. But when it comes to these violent crises in mental health, I mean, it's becoming the norm. It's like you hear of the school shooting. Oh, I wonder what was wrong with that kid. And assuming it was a kid. Like I said, I had not checked into it.
Most of the time that tends to be the case.
Most of the time. And most of the time, unfortunately, and I'm not saying it's every time, I'm saying it's most of the time, there's some kind of radicalization involved.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
they
often,
are...
It seems to be the case.
Yeah. And this is of any age, right? But it does happen to be the norm. Higher propensity, teenager, young adult. And there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
And as in what I did hear of Charlie Kirk is specifically in regard to it was like college reform kind of conversations that I'd heard like over the last few years. And it on Fox, when he would be on Fox. I was talked out of, how do I want to word this? So when I was in high school and I wanted to go into psychology, and I did want it to be Christian psychology, it was not as popular. That was not as popular of a concept. And it was particularly not a popular concept in a left city, which Traverse City has become more and more of as the years have passed. Mm-hmm. But it was certainly at that time. So when I had said that was my goal, there was no support for that. So I kind of quickly talked myself out of it and thought it would just be, how would I do it? It would be too hard. I don't know where I would go for proper training, things of that nature. Like it was kind of looked at me like I was nuts, and I talked myself out of it. Unfortunately. And here I am, going that full arc, and I'm right back to where I wanted to be, 18 years old, and I'm 46 now. Nowadays, I mean, it's not easier. There's more opportunity. And you can have like these turning point chapters at colleges.
Yeah.
That was not as prevalent where we lived.
No, not at all.
And it wasn't just because it was northern Michigan that didn't have the populace. It was the mindset
Yeah.
of the areas that had the resources, like Traverse City.
Yep.
That was kind of like the largest city. I think it still is the largest city in northern Michigan.
Yeah. See, I think one of the reasons why he started the thing was if you had a differing opinion than your professor, you were going to be penalized for it. And it's like, well, hold on. Well, it's a differing opinion. Opinion is not the same as reality. It's your interpretation of what you've experienced. And, I mean, even, it was a long time ago, and Traverse City, I had to do a paper on a topic, and the topic's irrelevant. And I got deducted like 20 points not because the paper wasn't well read, well researched, well written, I wasn't docked because all of the data I had wasn't factual, that I didn't have good sources. It was because the professor didn't agree.
I do recall that.
It didn't matter that I had my opinion, or I should say, my paper was based on cited research and facts, which I use the term facts loosely, because anytime, at some point or another, you have to interpret what's being documented.
Sure, but it was still a cited source.
When I give you, it's like for years, 2 + 2 + 2 = 6.2, and I show you data that says 2 + 2 + 2 = 6, and you disagree because you've been in the 6.2 camp your entire life, doesn't mean that I'm wrong. And even if it's like, this is a differing viewpoint, and the data and my conclusion agrees with the data that's available, nope, got 20 points off. And that was kind of the, different groups were getting nailed like that. Specifically, if you were a Christian or conservative in a college, if you didn't write things that coincided with your professor's predetermined ideas, you were going to get dinged for it. That's not...
I think it's 100 times worse. No.
That is 100% not what colleges are for. The point of a university is to be exposed. University is unity and diversity. It's coming together to learn and share differing opinions and learn opposing viewpoints and how to interpret things in different ways, not regurgitate what your professor told you, which is what his professor told him. Yeah. And so that was kind of seemed to be one of the reasons for Charlie Kirk getting started. It's like, you all have the same opinion and none of you can tell me why. And then hearing, other students, it's like, well, I'm a Christian conservative at this college and I have to write everything so it coincides with an extremely leftist viewpoint or I'm going to fail. No, that's bullcrap. We need to call him on that. And then the more he got exposed, the further he went down that road. And until he, I'm sure there's a lot of other things, but I've heard parts of that story over the years. But yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
When did having a conversation become such a threat to people?
That is the norm now, unfortunately. And that just got worse over the decades. I know it's been a minute since we were up north. I don't know if that's better or not. I don't think so. I don't know. There's a part of me that's glad our kids are skipping that. That's a choice, right? But it's not that they wouldn't know how to function and deal with that. We have taught them how to use their words. My whole job is to teach people how to use their words.
Mm-hmm.
Just in a different way. And I don't know when people forgot how to talk. Well, I don't know how things got so skewed. I mean, whole families were ripped apart over COVID.
Yeah.
So
that's another tangent we don't need to go down.
we're not going down it. It's just saying it. And I mean, I'm still dealing with the aftermath of that for people, quite frankly.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, it's like one of the most social creatures in God's creation is people, and you had to spend a couple of years isolated away from everybody. Yeah, that's going to have a long-term drastic effect on everyone.
I just want to throw this out there really fast because I did end up Googling it. I apologize. I did not before we started, but we've got one thing here. 4 days ago, 2 students wounded in shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado. That was CBS News.
I believe there was some. I don't know if they were
trying
killed,
to make
but
more recent.
Yeah.
New York Times student who shot 2 others at Colorado school was radicalized. That was 3 days ago. ABC News, student suspect dies after high school shooting. That was 3 days ago. That was ABC News. And another ABC News 3 days ago, Colorado high school shooter was radicalized by some extremist. And then it's a ... and I didn't open it. Yeah, I didn't hear a whole lot about it.
No.
I'll be honest.
No.
It was like a fleeting news headline when I was in the car, and I was like, "Wait, what? Something happened?"
Yeah.
But that means that I believe this would have been, if that was 4 days ago, I believe that was the day of.
I believe that there was and I did a quick search just a little bit ago, and I wasn't finding it because there's so much other horrible stuff going on. There was a female politician in a state that was attacked, shot, killed. I'm not sure, 100%. I believe was killed, and it just kind of got caught up in a tidal wave of other stuff that got much more attention. And admittedly, when you're somebody who's got the audience that Charlie Kirk had, that's definitely going to amplify events surrounding him.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's you should never be afraid of speaking, even in a group of people that you don't agree with. I mean, there's that fear of just talking and being, the center of attention. You shouldn't have to fear for your life just because you disagree. That is a messed up mindset. Like how far down, how bad does your mentality have to be when you, I get, I'll be the first one to tell you that, the people that say violence is never the answer is delusional. Because the only answer for violence is violence. It's just, but speaking isn't violence. Even saying violent things isn't violence. Saying hurtful things isn't violence. Violence can end a life immediately. If it hurt your feelings, it hurt your feelings. And they owe you an apology. They don't owe you their life. If somebody's saying something that's hurtful, then nobody says you have to listen to them. Walk away. Find a different audience. Find a different group. Sometimes you can't because, they're family, but whatever. Just because you disagree with them doesn't make them not human and worthy of being treated with a basic level of humanity. It's when you dehumanize another human being, you become the problem. The fact that, and again, it's like we keep saying it, but, it's like focus on him, I guess. But just because Charlie Kirk says something that you don't agree with doesn't make him less human.
No.
But by dehumanizing him, you dehumanized yourself. You turned yourself into something subhuman. The human being is a... in conversations I have with people who have impulse issues, let's just say, the difference between humans and animals is humans are the only creature on the planet that can completely override their instincts and do what they believe to be right instead of what they biologically feel they need to do.
We can control ourselves?
We make no
consciousness?
We make absolutely no action that we do not choose to make. Which is why it just happened. No, it didn't. Well, I have to. No, you don't. Like, people have starved themselves to death in protest. You don't have to. I'm not saying it's in your best interest. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying you are completely capable of ignoring every instinct you have. It's that ability to control yourself is one of the primary things that makes us human. We're not an animal. We are a human being. An animal is controlled by its instincts, and in very small cases can override those instincts to a degree. But you push an animal, they're instinct driven. Now, I can honestly tell you, I had the instinct to punch a loudmouth in the face. I've had that instinctive drive. But I don't do it because I don't have to. I'm a human being with a mind. If you're telling me that this person disagreed with him and so he had to die. I didn't like what he had to say, so he had to die. He's making sense, so he had to die. I just feel that instinctive need to end this person's life. You are admitting that you're no longer fully human. Because you're being driven by your instincts. And now I'm not saying that because they're not fully human that we should be killing them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as a human being you need to have compassion for those people. But good God Almighty, we got to do something about them. If anybody can dehumanize another human being, we got to do something about those people. Now, I mean, there's, especially over something as stupid as politics. I mean, I get, to a degree, like, there are fundamental differences that we can argue about. You know, there are religious arguments. It's like you cannot reconcile. There is never going to be a middle ground because there can't be. I get that. I understand that. But that's still not grounds to dehumanize. It's like they're still people. And if you believe that they're human beings, then what the heck? Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm a little...
That's okay.
I'm a very...
I was trying to keep this in a certain area, but, you know, I know you got your passions and your beliefs
well,
and
I mean,
things.
What is wrong with your freaking head? Obviously, there's something wrong with your freaking head. What are you trying to prove? That's the one thing that I've never... Okay, I'm not saying, okay, this isn't advocating, and this isn't accepting, and this is not in any way, shape, or form condoning. Was it Manglione guy that, I'm mispronouncing his name horribly, that killed the insurance exec?
Oh, yeah, I don't recall the name.
Specifically going over after a specific individual over a specific issue, I can see how someone could justify that. Sure, to a degree. Your decisions are ruining a bunch of people's lives and going after that person. You could make that argument. You could. You're still wrong. There are the correct ways of dealing with that. But there's no how is going into a school and hurting a bunch of kids? What are you actually trying to what's the protest? What are you trying to accomplish other than chaos? What's the end goal?
Some people just live in chaos, and that's what they thrive in, chaos.
I'm okay with chaos to a degree. But
harm and chaos.
Yeah, but to what end? You get nothing. You get other than.
Well, I believe there's some vein of mental illness in there.
Oh,
So there's no
and
definitive answer to be had.
Like again, it's like we're back to there's something wrong with your head. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. There's something wrong in your head. We need to deal with that. The question is how? How do we get to that point? And how do you tell?
That's a great question.
And then when you do tell,
these signs and symptoms, so to
what
speak.
do you do?
You wish there was a beautiful little checklist?
I can. I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to go there. I mean, I probably have like 5 questions.
We're not going to go there.
That I could ask any individual and tell if they were mentally screwed up or not. But that would go over.
We're not going to go
that
there.
Would go over like a fart in church. I mean, that was.
How about if we just how about if we just come to a closing point?
But I think that's always been kind of the question though.
This wasn't quite the angle I wanted to take.
Well, but obviously, because there's no rational part of it, it's not a rational issue. The actions weren't rational. None of those actions were rational.
No.
They don't make any sense. They don't accomplish anything long term. They do more harm to your position than good. So obviously it's not, accountable. It's like, there's no intellectual foundation there. So there's obviously some mental dysfunction going on. But what do you do with that? We understand, for the most part, people understand that is the problem. You take the tools out of the equation, it's people killing people over dumb crap or disagreements, which even the fact that you have a disagreement isn't dumb. The fact that you've got yourself to a point where you're going to end someone's life because you have a disagreement or a lot of disagreements. And that, I don't care at what level you're talking about. I don't care if it's the issues in the Ukraine, Pakistan, all these other you got all of these military actions going on, wars all over. Most of the time, it's over dumb crap. Like at some point, the fundamental problem is you're not seeing reality for reality, and you're not willing to talk. And somewhere, there's probably somebody that's got a little bit too much dysfunction, and they're in charge and making the calls. The bigger the issue, But what do you do with that? And I've asked that question about a number of topics, some that we've talked about here. What do you do with that information now that you have it? The Jordan Peterson comments about IQs and society. There's a certain percentage of the population that aren't functional. They don't have they have very limited learning capabilities. But what are you going to do with those people? They're there, so what are we going to do? How do you help them? The same thing with the mental illness. It's a rampant issue. It's all over. Everybody seems to be touched by something, which it's a sick, sad world. It makes sense to react with illness. But what do you do with it?
That's going to be the $10 million question. Moving forward? We can't necessarily go back to state-run institutionalization, and that's a whole other rabbit hole that I don't think we should go down.
But there's
got to be better answers than somebody with schizophrenia getting arrested 14 times and not staying behind bars.
Obviously not getting the help that they needed.
There's that too.
If they're acting violently, they need to be kept away from people who could be harmed by that violence. And I'm not saying the old state hospital systems were good. I'm not saying that. They weren't executed to the degree that people should have been, where it should have been. There were people that needed help that were, let's just say, made worse, not helped, because of the situation they were put in those institutions. Not all. I know people that worked at them. I knew people that lived in them. But there needs to be something. The fundamental question is what? And I don't have an answer.
That's not going to be.
I don't have an answer.
An easy answer.
I have no answer. I don't even have. I mean, I don't even really have the inkling of an idea. What do you do? I mean, what do you do? I mean, with gun violence issues, people are. It's like, well, get rid of all the guns. Like, well, okay, well, you got people stabbing each other. You're going to get rid of the knives too, and then you're going to get rid of the spoons and the pencils. You know, and then, okay, you can't have shoelaces in your own house. You know, it's like at some point the absurdity has to kick in. You go where there's no guns and, okay, well, people are stabbing each other. You know, you go where there's no knives and people are beating each other with broomsticks. It's like
I feel like I should have warned you what I wanted to talk about, but I can
it-
appreciate that you
it's
have a very,
like-
very deep passion for what you have been talking about.
It always goes back to the fundamental problem. The problem isn't the tool. The problem is the person that's wielding it. And how do you deal with? How do you identify the problems?
See, that's just such a deep, deep thing.
And then what do you
wanted
do?
to keep it to, like, you know, the affect within our home and our kids and what it's like
Sure.
to have, like, you know, college age kids and not
Well, and the
and
fact
avoiding the indoctrination road. But
and
you
there's and I mean
you
this
took it a different way.
this is a sure as I
God bless you.
Yeah. It's like we're within our home. We don't agree on everything, and we think about things, and which is fine. And we go in different places, which is also fine. It doesn't mean either one of us is going to get mad at each other and end each other by morning. Okay, it's a disagreement, and that's okay. And we can converse about these disagreements, and that's okay. And if there's anybody out there that says that's not okay, go talk to somebody because you need to get your head straight. It's okay to disagree, and it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to still disagree and be heated about the disagreement. That's all fine. If your feelings get hurt, you know what? That's also okay, but you need to deal with that too in a healthy way. Anyway,
It's the healthiness that we're lacking, and we're going to continue to lack.
Well, and I don't care how mad I get at
It's
you.
the definition of healthy.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter how mad I get at you. You're still human. You're still my wife. You're still deserving of love and compassion and understanding.
Thank you, my love.
You know,
as well.
and I think that's the part that keeps getting lost is somehow people are stepping through the doorway of this person no longer deserves all of those fundamental things that they should be. And what is it that's pushing them through that door? Is it a mental illness? Is it indoctrination? Is it... And let's be honest, we're all indoctrinated into something. To be fair, you have a mindset and a belief system and whatever it is that created that kind of indoctrinated you into believing that. I would like to think that we did a good job of indoctrinating our girls into understanding why they believe what they believe and giving other people the opportunity to do the same. Very flexible indoctrination, I would think.
I mean, our oldest has been inspired and talking quite a bit about what Charlie Kirk had done and how to incorporate that into her own life. And
yeah,
this was a devastating but inspiring.
He was very gifted at what he did, and he strove to share that ability with others. He was willing to fight where other people didn't feel they could. He was, and I think in that regard, where we are able, we should do the same. And it's not going to look the same. Not everybody is called, and certainly not everybody is capable of going in there and standing toe to toe with a microphone and going head to head with somebody. But we can do what we can do. We can support those that need our support. We can discuss things with those people who are willing to discuss. We can talk. We can humanize. Where people have been dehumanized, we can rehumanize. And I don't care, at what level, just giving somebody a smile and have a nice day, can sometimes be the thing that starts a revolution. At some point, somebody's got to say, I will.
Yes.
Charlie Kirk, he saw a big hole in the wall and said, I'll stand in that gap. We're not all called to do that, but we are all called to do something where we can. So anyway, everybody stay happy, stay
I know
human.
this was a heavier one, and I apologize again. This took some turns I didn't necessarily mean for it to, but we do thank you for your patience with us as we talked about it in the way that we wanted to be able to talk about it. Well, okay, how about if I say sort of I got to, and I think you did too.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
And
yeah.
It's been a rough week.
It's been.
So let's hope for lighter later.
Sure.
As this rolls on. But I think we will be changing the posting date.
Day.
And moving forward.
Sure.
We got a few weeks before our vacay, so.
And honestly, we need to get ahead again.
Maybe at some point we should.
We should. We should get ahead again, but
just not right now.
Just not right there. Yeah, not right now. Yeah.
But we thank you all for listening. We thank you all for, you agree, you disagree. Let us know. You're welcome to email us.
Hey, and
thank you for walking our journey with us, with our family, and listening to what we go through and how we feel.
And I'll put it like this: I hope you let us know that you disagree. Please do. I would love to hear your disagreement. If you agree, great. That's awesome. I don't need to live in an echo chamber. I would love to hear from you, by all means. But if you disagree, please, even more so, contact us. Get a hold of us. Let us know. Maybe we can have a conversation and figure some stuff out. Who knows? But please do. You always get more out of a conversation with somebody you disagree with than somebody repeating your own thoughts back at you. Just saying. But anyway, everybody out there, be safe, be smart, say hi to your neighbor.
Kindness does matter. I know. I don't want to go into the whole cliche woke thing. Conscientiousness matters.
Mm-hmm. At the basis level, everybody you meet, they're a person just like you, traveling a road that you've never traveled. You never can tell what stumbling blocks they've had, what bruises they're hiding.
Nope.
So give them the grace that you want to have. And with all of that, I'm Fix It.
I'm Feel It.
We hope you join us in the future.
Until next week.
Y'all have a great one.
Amen.